Okay, this is integrated farming system. So as far as syllabus is concerned, so today I'll be covering these 4 points: classification of livestock-based farming system, principles, scopes, drivers, and trade-off in integrated farming system, sustainability and ecological advantages of integrated farming system, and economic importance of integrated livestock farming systems. These 4 topics I'll be covering in today's presentation. Okay, integrated farming system, we also called as IFS. So when you say integrated farming system, there are 3 terminologies you can see: integration, farming, and system. So 3 terminologies. So before using these terminologies, we do use other terminologies like specialized farming, diversified farming, mixed farming. Okay, very frequently in LPM, these terminologies are being used. Okay, so before understanding the integrated farming system, so let us know how they are different, or how this integrated farming system is different from other 3 farming systems. When you say specialized farming system, means it can be anything, but there is a one single source of income. Either it can be dairy farming, piggery farming, or any commercial agriculture crops. The source of income is single, and all your energy or input goes for single farming system. You will make every attempt to get higher yield and higher income. So that is specialized farming, wherein you will try to know too much of detail about one particular system. Suppose if you are having a dairy farm, you will try to know, or you will try to address the different ways and means how best I can earn more money. Okay, with that situation, you will try to know more about dairy farming. Other than that, you don't want to listen anything. So that's specialized farming. Owner is also specialized in that particular subject, and your farming is also a specific. Diversified farming. So there is minor difference between diversified farming and mixed farming. Okay. So when you say diversified farming, diversity means too many activities. Here farming, too many farms. Okay. Owner is single, and you have a farming on one particular area. Then again, you have a subsidiary, tertiary, like that. You may be having a one primary, secondary, tertiary, like that. So depending upon source of income only, you are able to tell whether it's a diversified farming or mixed farming. Otherwise, by and large, it is same only. Being a owner, you will be maintaining few dairy animals, you will be maintaining few goats. At the same time, you may be having fish pond. Okay? But they are not dependent each other. ठीक है, आज आपने 10 एनिमल से डेयरी फार्म शुरू किया, बाद में आपको लगा कि नहीं, फिश पॉन्ड करने से भी थोड़ा सा इनकम मिलेगा. Then again you made one more farming system, that is fish farming system, but you have not made any integration. Okay. और साथ में किसी ने कहा कि nowadays there is a demand for banana, then we went for banana cropping. Okay, in between. So like that, you kept on adding another source of farming system or another source of income. Okay, and that we call as a diversified farming or mixed farming. Okay, at any given time, the income, okay, should not come, or you can say if does not come from single source more than 50%, then we call it as a diversified farming. So in diversified farming, you may not have any livestock species, but in we say mixed farming, generally we state that 10 to 15% of the income should come from the livestock. It means that in mixed farming, livestock is mandatory. Diversified farming, it need not be. Only criteria is that no single source should be more than 50%. Okay, and in general, diversified farming, livestock will be part of it. So that's why we take this criteria as the ultimate. Okay? So if it comes like 10 to 15% from the livestock, then we call it as a mixed farming. When it comes more than, or it gets near to the 50%, but lesser than 50%, more than 15%, 1/5, then we call it as a diversified farming. Why livestock comes in here as a criteria means In case of diversified farming, only for the agriculture, if you take it, the income is not the same as what we get in case of livestock. There, the income is not on a continuous basis. It is a seasonal. Okay, so that's why livestock we take it as a one of the farming system, either for the diversified farming or mixed farming. So with this, we have made very clear that specialized farming, diversified farming, mixed farming. Now, what is integrated farming? Integrated farming is nothing but a mixed farming or diversified farming, but it's more of integration. आप प्लान करके ही फार्मिंग शुरू करेंगे, जिसमें आप पहले ही प्लान करेंगे कि आई विल मेक वन पिग फार्म, नेक्स्ट पिग फार्म आई विल मेक वन फिश पॉन्ड, and I will make sure that 10 to 15% or 20% of the dung हम fish pond, everything cannot divert to fish pond directly. Okay, so you should have some criteria, otherwise the pond will get polluted. So planned way आप उसको part of the dung material it goes to the fish pond. Okay, similarly depending upon this fish pond feces, based on the nutrient content of the fish pond, you will have a fishes in that pond of known quantity, random नहीं है, because you want to make some integration. It should not spoil the system. So whenever you make an integration, and that we call it as integrated farming. So in year end, if you say income, it is always set as a single income, not as a multiple. आप डायरेक्ट फार्म में, मिक्स फार्म में क्या कहते हैं, हमारे लाइवस्टॉक से इतना प्रॉफिट मिला, बनाना बेचने से इतना प्रॉफिट मिला, ठीक है ना, कोयल्स बेचने से इतना प्रॉफिट मिला, इंडिपेंडेंटली डिस्कस, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट मेड इन इंटीग्रेशन. उसका इनपुट अलग है, इसका इनपुट अलग है, ठीक है ना, उसका इनकम अलग है, इसका इनकम अलग है. बट इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग है, everything is counted and output is single, input is single. So that's what we call as word integrated. So when you say farming, it will be multiple forms. When you say system, when you say word use system, like university is a system. हम कल रहे नहीं रहे, system तो चलेगा चलेगा. Same thing, integrated farming, if you make a proper integration, even if there is a mismatch, but the farming will go ahead because you have made system in such a way that आपको बहुत ज्यादा एक्सटर्नल इंटरवेंशन का जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी यू हैव मेड श्योर दैट एक फार्मिंग सिस्टम का आउटपुट विल बिकम इनपुट टू द अनदर फार्मिंग सिस्टम. बट दूसरे तीन फार्मिंग में ऐसे नहीं होगा. एवरीथिंग इनपुट यू हैव टू परचेज एंड गिव और यू हैव टू मैनेज एक्सटर्नली. बट हियर यू हैव मेड इन इंटीग्रेशन. दैट्स व्हाई वी से दैट ऑल आर इंटरडिपेंडेंट एंड इनकम एज ए सिंगल सोर्स. ओके, एंड आज के दिन में इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम व्हाई इट हैज बिकम मोर पॉपुलर, because nowadays everyone talks about the organic. So in integrated farming, when external sources are not purchased or brought, when there is the integration between the two farming system and practically they are known from the own sources, naturally आपका output जो होगा in any sense, okay, so that will be a organic only. क्योंकि आपका जो crop होगा वो आप animal को feed करेंगे और एनिमल का मेन्यूर जो है आप फिर एग्रीकल्चर फार्म में डालेंगे, तो एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजर्स आप जो भी एनपीके होता है वो परचेज नहीं करेंगे, फिर उससे जो भी आउटपुट मिलेगा दैट विल बी नेचुरली ऑर्गेनिक. इसलिए तो मोर ऑफ पॉपुलैरिटी. ओके, सो दिस इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम definition can be given in different ways and means. Okay, so like that many people have defined in a different ways. That let us discuss one after another. Integrated farming may be defined as a sequential linkages between two or more agriculture related farming activities with one farming as a major component. मतलब दो से ज्यादा होगा और उसमें एक मेजर रहेगा. Second, integrated livestock farming is an integration of livestock with cropping. यहाँ livestock भी एक component मान के भी चल सकते हैं. When fish becomes a major commodity, then it becomes integrated fish farming. This is another method of expressing the IFS. This system involves recycling of bioresources or byproducts and interconnected nutrient flow of one system as an input for the other by maximizing the production from the same unique area. अब ट्रू सेंस में देख लीजिए, integrated farming system, where all it's popular, you see in northeastern state, because space is the constraint, but water is abundant. If you come to Karnataka, or if you come to central part of India, you don't find any integrated farming system. If at all, if they are found as a modules. कोई यूनिवर्सिटी से एक मॉडल बना के प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए आपको, एक्सप्रेशन के लिए आपको बनाया होगा, बट एज ए फार्मर बहुत ही कम मिलेंगे. बट इफ यू गो टू केरला, अगेन स्पेस इज द कंस्टेंट, you may find more frequently integrated farming system by the farmer. If you go to Gangtok, if you go to any northeastern states, including West Bengal, you will find more of integrated farming system, okay, at the village level rather than in the plain area, because of this reason only. Livestock integrated farming system can also be called as a mixed crop livestock farming. As I told in the beginning itself, बहुत कुछ difference नहीं integrated farming और mixed farming या diversified farming. Only thing is that यहाँ integration होगा, वहाँ नहीं होगा. Integrated farming system that includes both crop and livestock and also called as integrated crop livestock system. Integrated farming encompasses, this definition is more important. I'll read out. Integrated farming encompassing a range of agriculture system arrayed along a continuum of a possible organizational structure, spatial and temporal scales. I'll read out, okay? It's a self-explanatory, even then I'll read out. Integrated farming includes continuum of possible organizational structure, matlab a setup of different enterprises, spatial, common space and reduce the unused land, temporal scales means requiring lot of quality time. Just कहने का मतलब ये है, फर्स्ट पॉइंट पॉसिबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर. ठीक है, आज आपने एज ऑफ नाउ यू हैव मेड वन इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम. लेट अस अज्यूम दैट यू हैव मेड फिश पिग इंटीग्रेशन. फिर आपको अगले साल आपको लगा कि नाउ आई गॉट लिटिल बिट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस, सो नाउ आई हैव टू एक्सटेंड इट द सेम इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग बाय इंट्रोड्यूसिंग डक. ओके, देन इट बिकम्स डक फिश इंटीग्रेशन. पहले क्या था, ओनली पिग और फिश का था. नाउ इंट्रोड्यूस डक, दैट इज कॉल्ड पॉसिबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर. मतलब एक के बाद एक आप एंटिटी बढ़ाते जाएंगे. दिस इज क्लियर? दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड कंटिन्यूम, मतलब इट्स अ कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस. आप छोटा से लेके बड़ा कभी भी कर सकते हैं. सेकंड, स्पेशियल means now presently you have a 1 acre of land. Now you have made pig fish integration in only 0.25 acres. Tomorrow you may introduce one more farming system जो आज के दिन में हो सकता है that land is unused. आपने और एक कंपोनेंट इंट्रोड्यूस किया उसी स्पेस में जो एग्जिस्टिंग था आपका फार्मिंग का. ठीक है, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड स्पेशियल इंप्रूवमेंट. दैट्स व्हाट इज कॉल्ड कंटिन्यूम पॉसिबल इंप्रूवमेंट विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मींस यहाँ एंटरप्राइज. नेक्स्ट इज स्पेशियल. लास्ट वन इज टेम्पोरल टाइम. पहले क्या था आपका, आउट ऑफ 8 वर्किंग आवर्स पर डे ओनली पिग फिश इंटीग्रेशन के लिए आप यू आर गिविंग ओनली 2-3 आवर्स. नाउ सिंस यू एक्सटेंडेड योर दिस थिंग, so time given for this integrated farming system will be little more. Or else even अगर आप same pig fish integration था, तीसरा फार्मिंग इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं भी करेंगे, you can increase this strength. Naturally when you increase the strength, आपका quality time भी उसी फार्मिंग सिस्टम में ज्यादा देंगे. Here what we mean to say that integrated farming is a continuous improvement system wherein it includes organization, spatial and temporal. There is a 3 possible interaction that I'll show it in the help of graph also in next slide. This agriculture production system with multiple enterprises that interact in space, okay, time to get benefit through a synergetic resources transfer among the enterprise. This is also one definition. Now, what are the characteristics of integrated farming system? अभी तक जो भी होगा हमने definition के बारे में, different methods to define the integrated farming system के बारे में discuss किया. Now, what are the characteristics of integrated farming system? जैसे आज के दिन में आपका mixed farming है, अगर आप सही तरह से इसको integrate करेंगे, then it may become integrated farming system. तो that interaction is nothing but a characteristic. That's what we are going to discuss. क्या है first character क्या है? आपको कोई भी इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम हो अगर होना चाहिए, द फर्स्ट एंड फोरमोस्ट इज इनपुट ऑफ वन विल बिकम इन आउटपुट ऑफ वन फार्मिंग सिस्टम विल बिकम इनपुट फॉर द अनदर फार्म. दिस वन ऑफ द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक नेचर ऑफ द एनी इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम. ठीक है, एग्जाम्पल तो आपको सब पता है, आई एम नॉट गोइंग इन डिटेल. सेकेंड इज इंटरडिपेंडेंस. ये नहीं कि आप जब मर्जी अपने एक्सेस आपको डंग लगा अपने फिश पॉन्ड में डाल दिया, फिर अगले 6 महीने के बाद फिर आपने एक्सटर्नल फीड खरीद के फिर डाल दिया, दैट कैन नॉट हैपन हियर. You will always avoid bringing any input from outside. If you bring out input from outside means the whole purpose is defeated. तो फिर वो ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग की तरफ से नहीं ले जाएगा. जो अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग का है क्या है, पोल्यूशन रिड्यूस करेगा, एनवायरमेंटल फ्रेंडली, सस्टेनेबल, जो भी हम लोग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स वर्ड यूज करते हैं दैट विल बी डिफीटेड. इट शुड बी इंटरडिपेंडेंट. ओके. However, integrated farming system may broadly include system where only multiple crop components interact. इसीलिए हम लोग जब भी इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग का बात आता है, हम वही फार्मिंग करेंगे जहां सही तरह से इंटीग्रेशन फिट होगा. ये नहीं कि जो बहुत लेस लाइकली इंटरेक्शन होगा, ऐसे फार्मिंग इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे तो कभी भी वो परफेक्ट इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग नहीं हो. ठीक है ना. अगर कोई भी आउटपुट जो होगा थोड़ा सा यूज होगा दूसरा कंपोनेंट में, फिर उसको अच्छा नहीं माना जाएगा. यू विल मेक श्योर दैट वन आउटपुट ऑफ वन कंपोनेंट विल बिकम द इनपुट ऑफ अनदर. जितना वो क्लोज इंटरेक्शन रहेगा उतना अच्छा इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम माना जाएगा. ओके. दैट होल एफर्ट इज दैट हाउ बेस्ट यू मेक इंटरेक्शन बिटवीन द टू कंपोनेंट दैट विल डिसाइड द सक्सेस ऑफ इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम. भाई लास्ट डेफिनेशन में मैं बता रहा था, सेम द ऑथर्स हैव डिफाइंड बेल एंड मोरे, जस्ट आई दिस इज द डेफिनेशन. ओके. उसमें हम लोग डिस्कशन किया था स्ट्रक्चरल, स्पेशियल एंड टेम्पोरल. ओके. सेम थिंग आई एम रिप्रेजेंटिंग हियर विद द सेम टर्म. यू कैन सी आपका जो इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम होगा वो इंटरेक्शन can happen with the time, can happen with the space, can happen with the component. ठीक है ना. आप अगर आई विल गिव एग्जांपल्स बाद में भी है, जस्ट विल सी दैट वन आफ्टर द. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इंटरेक्शन कैसे हो सकता है. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्केल इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय द नंबर ऑफ एंटरप्राइजेस रेंजिंग फ्रॉम स्पेशलाइज्ड टू डेवलप. आपका 2 से 3, 3 से 4, जितना आप इंट्रोडक्शन करते जाएंगे डिफरेंट फार्मिंग का और उसमें उतना इंटरेक्शन अगर होता जाएगा, that's always a good integrated farming system. Spatial, it represented by operating distance between the enterprises and ranges from the segregation to the co-located. मतलब ओनर एक ही है. अगर वो इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग एक ही फार्म के अंदर अगर रहेगा, इट इज ए गुड थिंग. पता चला कि ओनर एक ही है बट आपका 2 लैंड है. ठीक है ना. और बीच में और कोई तीसरा आदमी है, तो आप इधर से उधर, उधर से इधर से आप लाना चाहेंगे तो देन पर्पस विल बी डिफिकल्ट. ठीक है. वो इट कैन बी लाइक ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ डंग फ्रॉम वन फार्म. डेयरी फार्म आपका एक जगह में है, फिर आपका फिश पॉन्ड और फिश फार्मिंग दूसरा जगह में है, अतः उसको डंग आप डेली लेके वहां डालना चाहेंगे, देन दैट पर्पस इज डिफिकल्ट. ओके. इट शुड बी मोर इंटरेक्टिव. उसी तरह से टाइम, नेचुरली डिस्टेंस विल डिसाइड द टाइम. अगर जितना इंटेंसिव होगा, जितना लिमिटेड प्लेस में आपका एक्टिविटी होगा, उतना इंटरेक्शन ज्यादा होगा. दैट्स व्हाट इट इज रिप्रेजेंटेड. If it comes more towards the left, it's a more integration. If it goes more towards the right, it is a less integration. And if it is a more integration, then it is a more successful integrated farming system. Okay. This is about the characteristics. Next is history. History I'm not going in detail, but still we'll see that. In true sense, integrated farming system कोई ऐसे नया चीज नहीं है. पहले से this we have been doing it. Okay. Only we have given a good terminology. That's all. Only thing is that when you define it, then you will also tell about how the system works. अगर गांव में जाएंगे तो हो सकता है उनका इंटरेक्शन और इंटीग्रेशन इतना परफेक्टली नहीं होगा. अगर उसी को आपने परफेक्टली बनाएंगे, एक सिस्टम जैसे वर्क होता है वैसी तरह से आपने क्लोज विद द प्लांट में शुरुआत में ही एक फिश प्लांट बनाएंगे, कैसे 0.5 एकड़ में बनाएंगे, उसके हिसाब से कितना डेयरी एनिमल्स होना चाहिए, उसके हिसाब से कितना पिगरी फार्म होना चाहिए, स्ट्रेंथ आप डिसाइड करेंगे, ताकि यू विल मेक ड्रेनेज सिस्टम इन सच ए वे दैट द नोन क्वांटिटी ऑफ डंग कैन बी लेट आउट इनटू द फिश पॉन्ड. उस तरह से सिस्टमेटिकली बनाएंगे तो नेचुरली होगा. अदरवाइज एक कन्वेंशनल इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग में भी इतना परफेक्टली इंटीग्रेशन नहीं होता. एंड व्हाई दिस इज टेकन मोर पॉपुलर, बिकॉज एक टाइम में कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग था जो मिक्स्ड फार्मिंग या डाइवर्सिफाइड फार्मिंग हम लोग कहते थे. बट विद द टाइम व्हाट हैपेंड, विद द introduction of new technologies, with the introduction of more mechanization, okay, with the introduction of more good fertilizers and pesticides, तो सारे economics के तरफ से driven हो गया. So with this, people started avoiding different farming system. अगर उनको लगा 3 फार्मिंग था, उसमें 2 हटा दिया, इसमें प्रॉफिट नहीं मिल रहा है ज्यादा, इसमें टाइम और दिमाग लगाने का जरूरत नहीं है. जस्ट विल ट्राई टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट वन फार्मिंग सिस्टम and we will try to know as much as possible on one farming system and we will try to get more profit. ठीक है ना. तो हमारा whole goal जो होगा that will be towards to increase the yield, profit, okay, and maximum time. So with this sequence, one day we lost almost all the conventional farming system. But end of the day, what happened? Now people have become more of health concern, environmentally friendly. They want to make it. Government is also taking a lot of initiation to avoid the pollution with respect to water, with respect to air pollution, in every sense. Okay. और स्पेशलिस्ट फार्मिंग क्या होता है? चलेगा तो बहुत अच्छी चलेगा, नहीं तो एकदम it will be under loss. Many people they end up in great losses because of too much of input, less output. Okay. तो because of this one, sustainability का एक क्वेश्चन आया, then this integrated farming system इंट्रोड्यूस किया और उसको ICRB और गवर्नमेंट भी trying to popularize for the medium size farms, not for the small or not for the bigger farm, because in large scale it is not possible. It is only for the people who have got little bit of land with good source of water, then only this integrated farming system works out excellent. That's why it is being popularized, so much so that this farming system should continue. It should not stop. Okay. Now, principles of livestock-based farming system. Principles मतलब क्या hypothesis होना चाहिए. It is as same as characteristic of livestock farming. कोई ऐसे difference नहीं है. But even then, आपका syllabus में दिया हुआ, still we'll try to work out. Okay. So, principles of livestock-based farming system is said that when agriculture was done jointly with livestock, land, water, and plants were fully utilized. An integrated system is commonly used term to describe more integrated approach to farming than one-way farming method. In this system, interconnected set of enterprise used to input waste from one component to another. Same thing only. Okay. Only difference is the last point. The basic principles of integrated farming system to enhance ecologically diversity. This is the main principle of livestock-based farming system. A best example. See, we talk so much about the developed countries, but developed country में weakest point क्या है? Because if they grow only one type of crop. Okay. If the source of income is one, even if you see wild animals, you will see only one type of animals. But in India, you will see the lot of diversity. In Africa, you will see lot of wide varieties in the diversity. उससे क्या होगा? Always, even in the natural calamities, in the near future, maybe after 100 days, if there is a severe natural calamities in any sense, it can be earthquake, it can be fire, anything. Okay. So generally, the possibility of sustainability will be more if there is a diversity. So that's why this livestock-based farming system would generally priority दी जा रहा है. And this integrated farming system, why that is more stress is given on the northeast state, because still biodiversity, rich biodiversity still exists there. The way we are neglecting or ignored in the plain area, if you do there also if you start addressing or you can say upgrading the farmers to a monocrops, then one day they will also lose their indigenous varieties. So that's why they are stressing upon the integrated farming system. Okay. Another is scope or opportunities for the livestock-based farming system. The intensification of agriculture, which is going on now, has led to poor soil fertility and increased price of fertilizers, labor shortage, okay, and there are no alternative farmland manure, okay, and also there is an unpredicted seasons, and end of the day it has become less lucrative than the which was there earlier. एक time में specialized farming, they were getting good income, बट सब लोग जब करने लग गए तो फिर आपका प्राइस, इनपुट का प्राइस बढ़ते गया विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू फर्टिलाइजर्स, विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू पेस्टिसाइड्स, फिर लेबर कम होते गए, और when you try to use the same type of pesticide, same type of crops again and again on the same land, it will lose the soil fertility because you are going for monocropping, because you are presently doing the, what you can say, specialist farming. So now they started losing the money. एक time में जो होता था income, they are not getting. Suddenly there is a disease and there is a possibility of losing money. Suddenly season में, rainy season में जो expected rainfall नहीं हुआ, they are going to collapse. So because of this one, integrated farming का scope generally it has increased. That is the whole purpose or opportunity of livestock based farming system. Advantages, these two slides, it's very, very important because it covers everything. First one is productivity. IFS provides an opportunity to increase the economic yield per unit area, per unit time by virtue of intensification of crop and allied enterprises. Okay. आपको हो सकता है एक ही क्रॉप में जो इनकम आना चाहिए था उतना नहीं भी आ रहा होगा, बट एटलीस्ट यू आर मेकिंग श्योर दैट योर इनकम इज स्टेबल. वहां क्या होगा, स्पेशलिस्ट फार्मिंग दिस टाइम आपको बम्पर लग गया है. जैसे सपोज इफ यू आर हैविंग प्रेजेंटली टोमेटो क्रॉप, देयर इज ए हाइक इन द प्राइस मार्केट, सडनली यू मेक इट so many lakhs. Next year there is no price for that tomato at all. But in IFS what happens, since you are growing too many crops at a time in the same place by the same person, if even one crop loses its rate in the market, other will compensate. इसलिए productivity always stable. Profitability, specialist farming क्या होगा, we all know that suppose एक livestock example का दिया है, 70% generally goes towards the feeding cost. But nowadays, because of too much of specialized farming, now all byproducts have become costly. But आपके पास और कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है. You have to purchase from the market. When you try to purchase from the market with higher rate, naturally आपका profitability कम होगा. You see the egg price, it's very few paisa per egg. Even if you take milk, it is a few rupees per liter. It's not the margin which they are getting earlier. That's too in the specialized farming. Okay. Since we are using the manure from the other, okay, similarly other byproduct like crop as a feed to the cattle, so cost of production naturally आपका competitive price में नहीं रहेगा. Since you are in-house grown, profitable आपको आना ही आना. Sustainability, since आपको market से unnecessary extra rate पे खरीदना नहीं पड़ रहा है, whatever you are growing, whatever you are using, it is at your level only, it sustains. Balanced food. See, if you go to Northeast, those who are from Northeast also, they will very well appreciate, okay? In every vegetable market, whatever the crops they represent for the sale purpose, there are two wide varieties and they are all in-house grown or backyard grown vegetable crops. Okay? You will see so many wide varieties. But we have metropolitan city bank, everything has come from the outside. फिर जब आउटसाइड में आएगा तो आप देखते हैं पहले प्राइस क्या है. अगर आज के दिन में कैबेज का प्राइस ज्यादा है, देन यू विल अवॉइड इट. ओके, किसी और के क्रॉप का अगर पैसा कम है, देन यू परचेज इट. So thereby you will try to eat only economic based vegetables. Naturally you will deficit of so many nutrients. But आपका बैकयार्ड में आपका फार्मिंग सिस्टम में you try to grow too many crops, naturally you are sufficed to get almost all the nutrients by yourself. So that's why the possibility of getting balanced food will be more in case of integrated farming system. IFS, the environment safety, as I told you, when you try to avoid pesticides, when you try to avoid all inorganic fertilizers, naturally ये environment friendly होगा. Recycling का, as I told you, अगर आपका specialized farming होगा, एक example मैं बता रहा हूँ, so many times some of the by products they cannot utilize it. अगर utilize करना चाहिए तो उनको पैसा वर्कआउट नहीं होगा, इसलिए वो कहीं ना कहीं they try to dump somewhere nearby. ठीक है, सब पिगरी फार्म का. We all know pig manure is a very good, it has got good manure, but because of smell, because of space constraint, they don't want to keep next to their farm. But अगर आपका agriculture farm या fish pond अगर होगा तो naturally try to use it. Otherwise आपको किसी को पहले स्टोर करना पड़ेगा, ड्राई होने तक वेट करना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद सेल करना पड़ेगा, तब तक आपके पास वैसे इतना पैसा वेस्ट हो जाता. इनकम अराउंड द ईयर, This is another greatest advantage because one or other any given time you will be getting some income, saving the energy, meeting the fodder crisis, employment generation. आपका स्पेशलिस्ट फार्मिंग में पीक सीजन में आपका बहुत लेबर होगा, लीन सीजन में आपका लेस लेबर इंटेंसिव होगा बिकॉज प्रोडक्शन कम होगा, फॉर्डर नहीं होगा, रेनी सीजन में फॉर्डर ह्यूज प्रोडक्शन होगा, आपका साइलेज भी बनाना है, ठीक है, आपका नंबर ऑफ मिल्क प्रोडक्शन भी बढ़ जाता है, हैंडलिंग टाइम ज्यादा होता है, लेबर, बट हियर इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. Okay, so that's why it will try to create employment generation evenly throughout the year. Okay. Limitation of livestock farming system, straightforward, ठीक है ना, इसमें one person has to know lot of information about all the companies. अगर वो फिश पिग डक इंटीग्रेशन होगा तो उसको डक के बारे में जानना जरूरी है, फिश के बारे में जानना जरूरी होता है, पिग के बारे में भी जानना होता है, फिर उसको बहुत प्लान करना पड़ता है. ऐसे तो नहीं कि एक्सेस डंग जा रहा है ताकि फिश ड्यू टू टर्बिडिटी डेथ हो रहा है, ठीक है. डक के लिए जब जाते हैं तो वट एवर द बायोमास प्लांक्टन उनको मिलना चाहिए, फिश पॉन्ड में मिल रहे हैं, सो यू हैव टू पुट लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी इन मेंटेनिंग दैट व्हाट यू कैन से द बैलेंस. अगर कहीं भी बिगड़ जाता है देन यू विल बी अंडर ट्रबलसम कंडीशन. ओके, so that is. So now what are the components in integrated farming system? So there are a number of things are there: agriculture, mushroom, seed, sheep rearing, horticulture, piggery, okay, azola. So these are all different components. Each component is a single sector basically. Earlier you were doing it as a specialized farming, but now you want to integrate. And that integration depends upon where you are, what is your background, okay, what is the environment, everything it decides. So suppose for some people, you can say farmhouse, kitchen garden, and subsidiary. For some people, it can be a. So we were discussing about the different components of the farming system. Okay, so you might be having already orchard. Okay, you might be having already kitchen garden. So you might be already doing agriculture. You might be doing a vegetable crops. Okay, so that becomes your major component, and you can add on. Okay, extra you can add on as per your capacity and capability. So that is called integration. So now if you want to make of integration, you can make any number of permutation and combination. Okay, you can see this diagram. Any permutation and combination, the combination you can make based on your ability and capacity. Just to quote few examples. Okay, suppose your area is a dry land. Okay, so naturally dry land means water deficit area. So you cannot think of having a rice, what can say, growing as a major component. But automatically your major component will be dry land dependent agriculture crop, and to that you are going to make few more components. It can be a goat rearing, sheep rearing. So in order to fulfill the nutrient requirement, you may have to go for the azola feeding or conservation of feed and fodder and having the few drought animals. Okay, so like that, depending upon your area, you can think of different modules. Okay, so they are called as a modules. This is one example to say that this is an integrated farming system model for the dry land. Similarly, if it's irrigated, naturally you'll go for the good commercial crops where it can be vegetables, floriculture, okay, it can be a cotton, any commercial crop, and to that you are going to add on. Since there is a sufficient green fodder production, you can think of good dairy animals. Okay, since you can grow good vegetable crops, particularly the vegetable crops, certainly you can think of some processing unit. Okay, so depending upon your capacity and ability. So similarly, one more terminology has been given: trade-off of integrated systems. Okay, trade-off means how we will cope up between the positive and negative. Okay, positive and negative, because see, if you want to make it as a more successful, so you need lot of knowledge. Okay, and you need lot of proper training, you need lot of planning, financial support. Okay, proper execution. So then only this integration system will become successful. Otherwise, it will not. It will be a flop show. So now there is another point in your syllabus, that is drivers in the integrated livestock farming system. Drives means how it will motivate. What factors will motivate to have a livestock farming system? They are called as a drivers. Okay, one is, there are three drivers they have discussed. One is economic, environmental, and social. Okay. So we were discussing about the different drivers in the integrated farming system: economic, environmental, and social. Again, they are all self-explanatory. What motivates you to adapt livestock integrated livestock farming system. Okay. In between that another slide, so that which I'll discuss later. So now first we'll discuss about the economic drives. Okay. So what motivates you? Okay. It is said that this economic drivers, they mainly talk about the production complementaries, risk management, okay, management requirement, okay, through economies of the scope. And what economies of scope? Economics of scope occurs when it is cheaper to produce two or more products simultaneously. So when you are capable to produce two or more products at a time, okay, with a lower cost, so then automatically you will be feel enthusiastic, you will be motivated to start any integrated farming system module as per your convenience, which is suitable to your area. And if you think that there is a less risk in the finance, okay, means suppose in the specialized farming, what happens? Something goes wrong, then you may have to borrow money, lot of money from the people, or you may have to get the loan, or already you have taken the loan. So in that case, you have to depend on other people. But in case of integrated farming system, if you think that the possibility of getting economic risk or getting the loan from the other people is less because you are getting income continuously, naturally it may motivate to shift from the specialized farming to the integrated farming. Okay. Similarly, if you think that everything is getting utilized here itself, okay. So earlier, suppose a dung, you should have been thought of selling it at right time, okay. But now it is being used for the agriculture purpose. Similarly, another byproducts which we have thought of, suppose you have harvested the wheat, okay. Now the disposal of wheat byproduct, that's a straw, okay, or busa, it is to be sold, and it becomes another headache, but it is being used at your own dairy farm. So naturally, you will feel that some of the headaches is reduced. Administrative part has been reduced by adapting the integrated farming. So naturally, so this will motivate you to this thing. So these are the economic drives to adopt this integrated livestock farming system. Okay. So environmental drives. Okay. Suppose if you are a person who is what I guess more matured enough, you are conscious about the environment, you are concerned about the nature. Okay. So that may also sometimes drive you to adapt this integrated farming system. Because if you are, suppose somebody is very rich, okay, he thinks that he can contribute something to the nature. Okay. So that is also one of the important motivation to adapt any integrated livestock crop-based farming system as a module, okay, to sustain or to reduce the environmental pollution. Social drivers, okay, so this is, as I told you, there are some number of people, there is some of the elite families, okay, in the cities particularly, who were ready to pay extra money for the tag of proper animal rearing. Okay. Suppose your milk has been tagged that your dairy animals are being reared in the loose housing system, not the tie system. Okay. Suppose your product says that it is not being produced with the help of inorganic fertilizers. Okay. And it is being produced solely by the organic manure. Okay. Then they may ready to give extra money, remunerative price, premium price, we can say that. So when you think that in being a farmer, and if I'm able to sell my product or byproduct at higher rate, so naturally I may think of shifting from the specialized farming to the integrated farming system. Okay, so this is a social drive, means public key, we can say. So these are the three drives which can motivate to adopt any livestock farming system modules. One could be economic, which is very, very important. Next is environmental. Very few people are so much concerned about the environment, rich people. Social, of course, this always demand and supply. If there is a demand, naturally people will adopt this system. Okay. So now this is about the first unit. So now I'm going to give brief examples. I will be discussing one after another in the subsequent classes. When you say integrated farming, as I told you in the beginning, it can be livestock based, it can be crop based, or it can be crop livestock based. Okay. But generally we try to cover mostly the livestock based, but in the exam, they may, if it goes to a person who is agriculture background, okay, who is a non-agriculture, non-vegetarian, okay, with agriculture background, and if he is teaching this course, naturally will have in inclination towards the agriculture components. Okay, you may go in detail about that one. So that's why we need to cover both the things. Okay? So when it comes to livestock-based integrated farming systems, so there are examples: cattle fish integration, pig fish duck integration, goat fish integration. There are so many other, but they are the most common models. Okay, they are successful models. So if you want to use crop livestock both as a single entity, okay, so it can, that is also a possible. These are the few examples. Integrated rice, fish, poultry models. It is in Orissa. Okay, this one example. Similarly, integrated rice, fish, vegetables model. Okay, this is another model. Similarly, integrated makana fish, I'm a little bit pronunciation, Singada, I can say in Indian system. So these are all crop livestock based integrated farming system. Okay, so these are the few examples which comes under the integrated farming system. So this one will be discussing one after another, but in the first class, first unit. So this was the point which I wanted to cover. Just I'll show this syllabus what I covered today. So in the unit 1, I covered classification of livestock-based farming system, in which I covered specialized farming, diversified farming, mixed farming, integrated farming. Okay. Second component, I covered the principles. Okay, what are the principles? Scopes or opportunity, that also I have kept on slides. Drivers, 3 drivers I covered. Trade-off in integrated livestock farming, that also I made one slide. Sustainability and economical advantages of integrated farming. This, I think this one slide I missed it. Let me go through one clearly, quickly. Sustainability and ecological advantages of integrated livestock farming. Same thing. What are the common advantages we discussed in the previous slide? Same thing. If a question is being asked like this, the same component. Sustainability means it should continue. Okay, so it should be self-dependent. So then only it will perpetuate from generation to generation. Otherwise, it will collapse. Okay, that's called sustainability, means self-dependent. Okay, so similarly, ecological means environmental safety. You can read out yourself. There is nothing much to tell about this one. Okay, and also since it involves recycling of materials, so that's why it will take care of the ecological balance of what can say food pyramid. Okay, so this is one topic which we covered today.